Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've been grinding away, digging deep to discover your core message, and perfecting your lyrics, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're taking off that songwriter hat and putting on the producer hat. We're going to dive into the absolute step-by-step practical process of transforming those finalized lyrics into a fully produced, incredible-sounding song using Suno.
But before we click a single button, we really need to get our heads straight with this empowering mindset. The technology we're using, it does not replace you. Not at all. It's just a brush for you to paint your emotional canvas. All that hard work you've already done, your personal story, your message, the sweat you put into those lyrics, that is what gives the song its beating heart. AI can't live your experiences, right? It's simply a creative companion here to help express what's already inside of you.
So here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll talk about the mindset of a producer. Second, painting with style prompts. Third, mastering those advanced Suno settings. Fourth, the art of refinement. And finally, launching your soul canvas out into the world.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the mindset of a producer.
Stepping into the producer's chair means getting relentlessly organized before you ever even log into the software. Seriously, don't rush this part. Having these three crucial materials prepped makes the whole process so much smoother. First, double-check your verse order, chorus placement, and line breaks. You literally need to label them verse 1 or chorus so the AI understands exactly where the musical transitions should naturally happen. So, have those formatted lyrics, your style prompt, and your song title ready to go in a single document from the jump.
Moving right along to Section 2, painting with style prompts.
Once you're prepped and logged in, it's all about how you communicate your vision. And here's the thing. Just typing in a generic genre like Christian pop is a massive missed opportunity. If you do that, you're essentially handing all the emotional decisions over to the AI. Instead, you've got to paint a picture. Describe the exact emotional experience, the specific instrumentation, and the exact vocal delivery you want your listener to feel. Throwing in descriptive words like intimate, warm, and expressive, those act as vital emotional guideposts.
Okay, let's get into the nuts and bolts. Section 3, mastering advanced Suno settings.
With your prompt locked in, we get to the really fun stuff. These are the advanced styles, the literal water and pigment we're using to blend this track. Suno actually has a setting called Weirdness. I love that they call it that. It's absolutely vital to understand this style because it dictates exactly how much creative freedom you are handing over. Think of it as a slider that goes all the way from play it totally safe right up to let's get delightfully unpredictable.
So, what's the strategy here? The crucial takeaway is to stay in that 30 to 60% sweet spot for your very first version. If you go 0 to 25, it's super predictable, which is great if you already love a track and just need a tiny tweak. But if you crank that bad boy up to 70 or 100%, the AI goes highly experimental. Now, that might shatter a creative block, but it also might give you a random kazoo solo when you specifically asked for a gentle acoustic ballad. So yeah, definitely stick to the middle to start.
Then, right next to that, we have style strength. This style determines how strictly the AI adheres to that beautiful, detailed prompt you just spent all that time writing. Higher values act like a strict blueprint, keeping the AI on a very tight leash. Lower values, on the other hand, give the software plenty of breathing room to explore and interpret your words a bit more loosely.
All right, settings are dialed in. You hit generate, but listen to me on this. A professional producer never, ever settles for the first take. You've got to generate multiple versions and actively compare them. Close your eyes and really listen to the vocal emotion. Does it sound authentic to you? Notice the little melody variations, the instrumentation choices, the overall energy. Sometimes take 1 is just fine, but version 4 ends up being that unexpected masterpiece you didn't even know you were looking for. You are the curator here.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 4, the art of refinement. This is honestly the most rewarding part of the whole process, evaluating what you've generated. But you're immediately going to hit a wall. It's the biggest dilemma you'll face as a producer when an AI generation is, good, but just not quite perfect yet. The question is, do you use the remix tool, or do you completely wipe the slate clean and start fresh? To make this super easy, just remember this golden rule. Use Remix to renovate a house you already like. If you just need to change one slightly awkward lyric or make the vocalist sound a tiny bit more mature or tweak the tempo, Remix is your absolute best friend. But if the foundation itself feels completely wrong, like the melody is actively fighting your words or it's just in a totally wrong genre, do not hesitate to start fresh. Tearing it down and starting fresh gives the AI permission to completely reimagine the whole shebang without being anchored to a flawed version.
And finally,
we arrive at Section 5, launching your Soul Canvas.
You've got your perfect track. Now we're at the presentation stage, where the goal is to remove every single barrier between your message and the listener. And your cover art? That is your very first impression. It has to visually communicate the emotion of your song before anyone even taps play. Keep it incredibly simple. Keep in mind, 90% of people are going to see this as a tiny little thumbnail on their smartphone. If it's jam-packed with text or chaotic fonts, they will just scroll right past it. Make it emotional, make it recognizable, and try to build a consistent visual style over time so people instantly recognize your brand.
Now when you're actually ready to upload, pay close attention to the text you're putting out there. Please, don't just dump the lyrics in the description or name the genre. Tell the actual story behind the music. What specific season of your life produced this? What was the raw inspiration? When you're writing your video description for YouTube or social media, invite the listeners into your personal journey. People connect with real human stories just as deeply as they do with catchy melodies.
And as a final, super practical step, think like an archivist. Create a dedicated folder on your computer for every single new release. Download the WAV file for that absolutely pristine, high-quality audio and grab the MP4 file for your video platforms. Toss your final lyrics, your style prompt, your cover art, and your story description into that one beautifully unified folder. Trust me on this, staying strictly organized right now is going to save you countless hours of pulling your hair out as your musical catalog gets bigger and bigger.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this final thought. Look, technology is going to keep changing at lightning speed. And these AI tools, they're only going to get crazier and more advanced. But authentic human stories have always been what connects us, and they always will be. The AI didn't live your life. It didn't feel your heartbreak or your joy. You did. So the only real question left is, are you ready to step into that producer's chair and tell your story?